there.
So, Biggs,
Man.
we have a Davis Absolute on Twitter. He's a Phoenix native, and he's asking you to interview Muslims and peaceful Christian protesters that are in the blue shirts. So
well,
I guess
they've blocked us off. We can't go over there.
Well, I think they're on both sides. They're the ones in the blue shirts. So I guess there's a big group of them. We'll see.
You might have just passed one right there. There's a blue shirt right there.
Yeah, but that's just a dirty T-shirt. Those guys have stuff written on theirs over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're a darker blue. I'll see, but I mean they've got lines up.
Yeah. So we're getting a lot of questions, people wondering if this is part of Jade Helm, if this is going to be used to foment civil unrest and be used for that. Of course, obviously, if a knife and a gunfight starts going off, that's going to change the game.
The guy over here with the hat on, the group looking, that's the guy that's right. He's the one that's been saying he's going to come over here apparently and start stabbing people.
Really?
He's
the shorter guy right in front of you.
Well, we don't want
Yeah, I can't get across. As soon as you get close to this thing, they come at you.
Yeah, well.
I think they decided there might be a security issue here today.
You think?
Go wonder.
Gary, you're good. Texas don't even get to do this half the time. Got a pistol?
Yeah. So what do you think about all this? What do you guys think about this today?
It was bound to start blowing up. Get more action down there. It's really been getting heated up.
Where?
Right down here.
We have that many traitors in this country.
Yeah.
So what's going on now? Where is it?
Down here we had a couple guys that look like the provokers. You gotta,
provocateurs?
Yeah, a couple guys.
Well, there's a guy over here in the hat. They're saying he's the one that wants to come across the line over and start
there's
stabbing
another.
people.
You see the big guy out here? He's another big Muslim dude. Yeah, he was starting a thing with another guy. They about got into the police had to break them up.
That house right there, they're coming out of that house. You see them standing on the other side of that gate right there? They come around the corner and they go back to that
Oh,
house.
so they're coming over there?
Yeah.
So he says in this gate right here, come here, look.
Yeah, see, there's some of them right here. Like,
INFOWARS.com reporter Joe Biggs is on the ground in Phoenix, Arizona at the Draw Muhammad Part 2 protest, for those of you just joining us.
Starting shit and then going back.
So there's guys coming over here and they're getting on the other side of this fence. They're coming over. I guess that's like a little area where a lot of the Muslims live.
Right.
And they're over there at the gate. They keep coming over here provoking, and then they run back over to the other side, the guy said.
Yeah, private property. And look, we're respecting their private property by not going back over there.
What's that noise?
It's like a helicopter.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, is that the Fox News chopper?
It's just blue and white. I can't tell.
Okay. Hey, if you guys have that aerial shot, guys, go to that every once in a while, too.
Yeah, it's the Phoenix police.
Hey, tell Alex
Oh, we don't? Okay. We had an aerial shot earlier.
Well, come here. Come on this side. All right, so
Our
I got
aerial
these two
shot
guys
has turned
with
into
me.
this. They've gone to the ground.
So,
okay.
I got these two guys with me right here. What's your name?
Darren.
Darren?
Mike.
Mike. And you're a INFOWARS fan, huh?
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thanks, Alex. We
We
appreciate
do
it.
a lot of patrol in the desert on I-8. Got pictures that show you when you're off.
All right.
We track the cartel.
Right on. Well, hell yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Biggs, you might run into a group called Freedom's Phoenix. There's a lot of good guys out there. Ernest Hancock, 4409 is a good activist out there. He does some amazing videos. I wonder if those guys will be out there at this event. Phoenix is a hotbed of people. I've been there a couple times. It's a hotbed of people who are into being free and living free. And, you know, when it, you know, the truth comes out that, hey, these guys were at a mosque in your backyard, I agree with what they're doing out here. Coming out and just stating, hey, we know what's going on. If you're going to be a terrorist factory, we're going to have a problem with that. We didn't have a problem with you before when you were doing your Muslim thing, praying, you know, keeping to yourselves, or just not going out and provoking, you know, but if you're creating shooters who are going out and attacking people, well, now there's a problem.
Right.
You know, now we need to, you know, man up and show up and just let people know that we're not going to take it.
So what do you think is the right position to take? Because I know there are some peaceful protesters in the crowd who are trying to bring everyone kind of together and don't want this thing to get out of hand, because obviously if someone rushes the line with a knife,
It could get a lot worse.
that's not going to be, it's not going to be good there tonight. But I mean, what do you think is...
Personally, I like it when people come out in a crowd and voice their opinions, and then you find out who really wants to talk and who really isn't interested in talk. Right now, it looks like, people holding American flags, holding signs. They're just saying, hey, not in my backyard. You're not going to become a terrorist breeding ground in my backyard.
Right. Well, I guess.
I mean, they obviously didn't have a problem with them building their Islamic Community Center right there because it's pretty big.
Right.
It takes up at least half a block. That whole
it's
section.
right there by the university and federal buildings and everything like that. But so the gentleman that Biggs was speaking with initially, really powerful stuff that he was saying there, and like that it's a cartoon, it's a drawing on paper, and that was worth someone losing their life over. And if we bow down to that, then what are we? And that's kind of exactly what happened in D.C. They had they were wanting to put up posters for this Muhammad drawing contest, and rather than do that, they just stopped for the next 6 months any PSAs or anything like this that would be kind of provocative. Yeah. They just shut it all down. No signs there in the DC Metro because they didn't want this particular event or the Muhammad cartoon or whatever to go up in the Metro DC there. Now, as the Metro Authority, were they just thinking, okay, this is going to be a target? Someone's going to come blow up the tunnel. But then there's a thing. Now we have to censor because
ourselves.
of a cartoon.
Right.
We are not, we're not going to let advertisers or PSAs or things go up because we don't want to get bombed. This is America.
And it's like you said, when this is close to a university, you look at universities around the country, they're all playing this free speech zone game. We have to approve what you're going to say. We have to see what you're going to do. You have to have a permit. You have to go into a zone. And that's not what this country is all about. This country is about people expressing themselves and expressing their ideas as long as your ideas and actions don't interfere with anyone else's. Although there's a lot of spots where we've taken that away, especially when you look at, the way people want to medicate themselves in this country. They're only allowed to do it. The big pharma way is the only possible way you could actually heal yourself.
As long
Any
as
other
your
way
message is government approved.
is wrong, or you're a conspiracy theorist. But when you get to this self-censorship level, this is how the terrorists win.
Right.
This is it. When people don't say anything, when people are afraid to speak out, when people get censored from we're going to get rid of all PSAs. Now we're going to punish everybody.
Right. No one can say anything because we don't want anyone to be offended because those people tend to go and chop people's heads off.
And all this is done by our government creating terror groups. They created Al-Qaeda in the 80s. We're having all these problems now because of Al-Qaeda in the 80s.
Right.
That's it.
And we're still continuing, even though we've seen what Osama bin Laden turned into and all of that, we're still continuing to arm and fund and train the rebels now, thinking they're not going to turn around and be the same thing 10 years down the line.
And it's our open worship of Saudi Arabia and their regime there. We don't condemn them for doing anything. So they become a breeding ground for terrorists. And that's where you look. Most of the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. They didn't come from Afghanistan. They didn't come from Syria. I think maybe one did. But most of them came from Saudi Arabia.
Right.
No invasion of Saudi Arabia.
Who was Iraq? Who didn't even... have anything to do with it.
Oh, we just happen to have bases on Saudi Arabia. Oh, we helped them out in the first Gulf War.
All right. So I'm getting word now that we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We'll go right back to the live coverage if anything
does break there. We'll be on standby. And hey, why don't you guys pull up, I think John Bound did a second report today. You got a description of that right there. It's about what Obama's doing.
Court battle for the illegals. Obama must destroy middle-class America.
Right. Instead of rising the tide and making prosperity happen everywhere, we're going to lower the dock level down to the least common denominator. So we're all wallowing in filth and scum going, please just give us our digital soup line card so we can eat. That's where the policies of this country are going. They're not for freedom and individuality and prosperity. It's going in the complete opposite direction. It's to drag us down with the rest of the third world instead of getting the third world out of that. Because we could do it. We have the technology.
Oh, yeah.
Worldwide, everybody could be, we could make easily a paradise in this world.
Absolutely.
If we just started changing. We don't let bankers run everything. That's the problem.
If the people that Rex Jones interviewed would just start caring.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd be like, what's a TPP? Is that toilet paper? Might as well be because it's flushing the country down the toilet.
And that was Rex Jones's first outing with a microphone talking to people.
Yeah.
Guy did a masterful job. So, let's go to Bounds Report. Maybe we'll play a couple ads. Encourage people out there, if you're watching this right now on YouTube or on INFOWARS.com/show, we always appreciate our PrisonPlanet.tv members who are big supporters of us. PrisonPlanet.tv, you can share your username and password with up to 20 people. So by getting one membership, you can share it with up to 20 people, and you could all be watching at the same time the show that you're watching right now. So we're going to reconnect with Joe Biggs here after this short break and see what else is going on in Phoenix. We thank you for joining us for this live coverage here on the INFOWARS Nightly News. We're, 2 hours in right now?
Yep.
Wow. There you go. So we'll be right back after this.
And I've said this consistently. My job in the executive branch is supposed to be to carry out the laws that are passed. What I'm not going to do is just wait. I think it's fair to say that I've shown a lot of patience, tried to work on a bipartisan basis as much as possible, and I'm going to keep on doing so. But in the meantime, let's figure out what we can do lawfully through executive action.
What about what's in the interest of the American people? America is not an oligarchy. The masters of the universe, they don't get to meet at the White House and decide how to run this country.
President Obama's legacy of bulldozing the Constitution with an executive branch arrogance unparalleled in American history has hit another snag. The judicial branch has yet again foiled the globalist-engineered subversive dilution of what remains of America's receding middle class. As 53% of Democrats are chomping at the bit to get illegals voting according to a recent Rasmussen poll, the American middle class has receded by over 10%. As more illegals pick up blue and white-collar American jobs the liberals would have you believe are jobs Americans won't do, a lower middle-class income is becoming the norm for born and raised Americans. Obama's plans were thwarted on Tuesday after a federal appeals court in New Orleans denied the executive request to implement action deferring deportation of millions of illegals. 26 states, including Texas, are suing and want the action put on permanent hold. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said Texas just won the executive amnesty case at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. The Constitution wins. Obama must now throw the Hail Mary to the Supreme Court, but that move could put his action in limbo until the end of his reign in office. His administration has decided to focus on the appeal of the injunction as it moves forward through the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in July. Ann Coulter and Jorge Ramos fiercely debated the actual census numbers concerning just how many illegals are now residing in the United States. Studies by award-winning journalists have put the number as high as 30 million, meaning a quarter of the Mexican population has moved to the United States.
Do you think that people are biologically predisposed to commit crimes?
No, I think there are cultures that are obviously deficient, and if they weren't deficient, you wouldn't be sitting in America interviewing me. I'd be sitting in Mexico. You fled that culture because there are a lot of problems with that culture. When you bring the people here, you bring those cultures here. That includes honor killings. It includes uncles raping their nieces. Not paying your taxes. It includes paying bribes to government officials. That isn't our culture.
But it's particularly difficult to be effective when the administration continues to sabotage its own efforts by embracing unconstitutional policies like the president's executive action. I think perhaps the larger tragedy is that the president has poisoned the well in Congress and destroyed any trust whatsoever between the executive branch and the Congress when it comes to fixing our broken immigration system.
I feel obliged to do everything I can lawfully with my executive authority to make sure that we don't keep on making the system worse.
As the illegals crossing become more desperate and violent, Ramos and others like Luis Gutierrez won't rest until the entire population of Mexico is here. A creeping cultural imperialism that can only break the back of the almighty American dollar and dream. John Bound for INFOWARS.com.
The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive INFOWARS Life Fluoride Shield formulation. Fused